Oh man, here we go. We go here. You know what? I almost forgot. My apologies, y'all. Oh man, crazy. All right. If y'all are ready to do this, here we go. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm just setting up some small stuff here. And we gonna get it going. We're gonna get it flowing. So if y'all ready, because I'm ready, let's get it going. Yo, what up? It's me. It's me. It's your boy K Fitz, back bringing that new just for you, that real that you can feel. Thank you so much for listening to the Altitude Podcast, the show that is all about growth. Please make sure that you're subscribing to this YouTube channel, and also make sure that you download this podcast if you have Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts. I don't care which one it is that you use. As long as it's not the cast that's on your leg, download as many episodes as you like. With that being said, let's get into it today. The message I have for each and every last one of you is that in this world, there are different types of men out there. There are men who have a desire to do the basic things in life, to live, to survive, and that's it. There are men out there that aren't looking to be the best in the world at what they do. And these men, these are just people that are just floating through space. They're just trying to get to the other side. And that's okay if that's who they want to be. Let them be just that. But then there's a man out there who wants to be somebody, who wants to be special, who wants to leave his footprint, his thumbprint, his body print on the world. And today, that's the man I'm going to talk to each and every last one of you about. Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic, we're going to talk about the makings of a man. And we're going to talk about what it is and what has to come together for that individual to culminate into the person that he desires to be. So with that being said, I won't waste your time. We'll get into it. We have 8 different premises. 8 different things, as people love to say. I have 8 things that will lay out what the makings of a man who is going places should look like, the things that that man should possess. So if you want to know what those 8 things are, I want you to stay tuned, because I promise you this will be worth your while. So let's get into it right now. Number 1, a man who knows where he's going in life has more EQ than he does IQ at times. A man who knows where he's going in life has more EQ at times than he necessarily does IQ. Let me tell you why this matters. So for those who don't know, you have EQ, which is your emotional intelligence. It is when you are in situations where people respond crazy. They go out of bounds. Sometimes their words come out of pocket. This is the individual who remains calm, focused, and wants to see things through in the most prudent way possible. That is a person that possesses EQ. Now, IQ, that is your intellectual quotient. That tells you just how smart a person is. Now, the reason why I say you have to have more EQ than IQ is because in every single situation, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. And if you have a copy of my book, Altitude Tales of Resilience, then in my book, you know I make it black and white. If you are the smartest person in the room all the time, you are in trouble. Because when you don't know the answer, the person who needs to know the answer is not available to you. So it's very, very important that a man who is going places has an emotional intelligence level that is much higher than solely their IQ does. So a couple different examples. Number 1, a person that has emotional intelligence normally has high self-esteem. They can also disconnect that disagreement does not necessarily mean disloyalty. I'm going to run that back. I'm going to say it again for the folks in the back. Disagreement doesn't always mean disloyalty. Now, if you decide to be disrespectful, that does. But disagreement does not equate to disloyalty. A person that has high emotional intelligence understands the power of building long lasting relationships. And in everything that they do, they practice self awareness and mindfulness at all times. So if you're a person that's trying to get to that level where you can elevate and become the man whose ambitions matches their actions and talk, that individual has more emotional intelligence than they do solely IQ. The second thing I'll bring to the table is that they actually action their ambitions. They action their ambitions. Let me tell you why. The reason why is because, see, having ambitions and executing ambitions, those are two totally different things, completely two totally different things. Listen, so with many men, we have all of these goals, we have all of these dreams, we have all of these wonderful, phenomenal things that we want to do. And that's great. Shout outs to you. But let me tell you something. A person who just has a thought in their head, if you just have plans in your head and they're not being actioned, if you have hard plans in your head with no action, then the dream that you had was soft. You can have hard plans all day long with no action. It's nothing but a soft dream. You have nothing that's tangible that you are chasing, going after, trying to grow off of. It's nothing. It's a waste of time. It's pointless. It's not going to go anywhere. Wrap that up. You want to be a person that's going somewhere. You want to be an ambitious individual. You want to prove that you have the makings of a man. I don't want to hear you talk about your ambitions. I want to be able to have a conversation with you and you're telling me this is what I'm trying to do and this is what I've done so far to implement it. So, what am I getting at? At the end of the day, a man who actions where he's trying to go, that is a man who has true ambitions, because ambitions are not something that you just build up and hold. Ambitions are something that you build up, you plan out, and you execute. Side note for a lot of the fellas out there, I will tell you that a lot of women find it turning on. They find it as a turn on when a man has real ambitions. The ultimate turn on is a man being able to step into his purpose in real time. And a lot of men talk about it, but they don't want to actually do it. So, if you are a person that wants to go to that next level, if you are a man of altitude who wants to grow, it's crucial to not just dream about it, but to actually start working towards making a reality. And side note, you don't have to be there yet. It's the attempt that counts. Now, when we talk about a high value man, that's a man that's already pursued and achieved it. But we're talking about a man of ambition who's actually trying to go in the right direction. The makings of that man is someone who is in practice trying to produce the results they're talking about. Number 3, a man of ambition practices self-care. A man of ambition practices self-care. So check this out. A man uninterested in investing in himself is a liability. I said what I said. Don't argue with me. These are facts. I'm not here to be cute or kind. I'm telling you what it is. A man who is uninterested in investing in himself is a liability. You see, the only way that you're going to get better is to invest in yourself. So this ranges from the clothing that you purchase, buying the adult toys like cars and homes to celebrate those milestones in your life. It's something that comes with time. It's not immediate, but it is still an example of self-care because you are acknowledging the successes over time. It also can be as simple as getting an adamant amount of rest. I am very, very, very paramount on getting rest on a regular basis. If you do not rest well, how can you expect to perform well? You have to show that love to yourself, as simple as powering down to get to where you're trying to go in life. Now, if you ever want to know if you're a man who practices self-care, here's something simple for you. Ask yourself the question of, what do you do to practice self-care? I'm going to tell you right now, if your mind goes blank and you can't give an immediate answer, the bad news is that you probably don't practice self-care, or you don't practice self-care to the level that you should. My friend, do you eat healthy? Do you exercise? Do you maintain high value grooming standards? Do you invest in courses or mentorship programs that better you? Because if not, your value may not be as high as you originally assumed it was, and it's time for you to step out, and elevate in a different direction. It's not saying that you haven't come far. It's not saying you're not doing well right now. But what I am saying to you is that it is crucial that in this moment, right here, right now, if you've identified that there's an opportunity for you to grow, you need to step into it immediately, because the more time you waste not taking care of self, you are allowing opportunities to waste away, or you are physically allowing yourself to waste away. So when the opportunity arrives, you are no longer capable of managing it when it finally arrives to you. Number 4, a man of ambition is one who is emotionally independent. Now, this is very, very important, because we're not saying the same thing we said earlier with number 1. This isn't just about emotional intelligence. This is someone who's emotionally independent. So what do I mean? If you're emotionally independent, you do not need anyone else to be secure in your beliefs or confidence in self. This doesn't mean you're cocky. This doesn't mean that you're arrogant. This doesn't mean that you're ignorant. This just means that you are comfortable, whether it's belief that you can care for your family, achieve your goals, or you just merely possess the mindset that's needed to respond to a major crisis in your life. A man that has a high level of value and ambition for self can draw the best out of self in the worst situations. So, message to you, gentlemen, if you're not already there, you're not already on the road to that, you need to start practicing your emotional independency. You have to practice getting yourself in that place. I know a lot of men that if their lady is not around, if their mom is not around, if their father is not around, they start to get scared. They start to get uncomfortable. They don't know if they can do it anymore, because all of a sudden stuff got real. And they realize that they're not as deep as they thought they were. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go run this business. Oh, when they figure out how big that loan is, now they got to go run and find somebody in the family to save them. I'm not saying you can't go and get people to look out for you. What I'm talking about is the person who goes through situations in life and something big comes, something daunting comes, an obstacle appears in front of them that seems impossible to jump, and they don't know where to run. They're scared. They're shook. What do I do next? Where do I go? What? No. If you're not emotionally independent in yourself, where you believe that you can do it, and you can't, like we said earlier, frame the situation, frame the problems, and then have the emotional intelligence to execute in a calm, cool fashion. I'm not saying you won't feel pressure, but to be able to manage it at the calmest level possible, you're probably not there yet when it comes to being the ambitious man that you desire to be. So what you got to have is emotional independence. Number five. I think we're on number 5. We're on number 5, right? Yeah, okay. So we're on number 5 right now. The number 5 thing is that he has to be emotionally independent. I just said that. Number 5, he has to effectively communicate. Somebody's listening to this right now like, what is this dude talking about? My bad, y'all. Number 5, he has to effectively communicate. You see what I'm doing right now? I'm getting myself back on track. That's called emotional security. I'm comfortable. Made a mistake. Got it. Moving on. But anyway, number 5, he effectively communicates. Check this out. So I was taught that a man who can't speak his needs does not get what he needs. It just is what it is. Y'all see, a strong man frames every challenge that comes and effectively communicates their plan of action and addresses the people that need to be influenced so that they can get where they're trying to go, so they can get the necessary resources to get the job done. So this doesn't mean he's rude, he's a jerk, and has to be off-putting to people. That's not what I'm getting at. But what it does mean is that they are incredibly assertive, they are clear about their expectations, and they gather all the facts that are needed to facilitate what needs to be done and to frame why it's important to gather the influence and the resources needed to accomplish their objectives. So if you can't communicate your needs, you're probably not there yet. Have you ever seen someone, listen to this. Have you ever seen someone who wants a high income job apply for a job? I'm pretty sure you have, because applying for the job is probably the easiest part. So I'm going to say sure. The part that you don't see is the interview. You see, in that interview, most of the time, the best communicator jumps up in meritocracy in the rankings, and they prove that there's nobody else better than them. They make it very, very clear that there's a pretty high likelihood that they are the ones that are right for the job. My message to you is that effective communication displays confidence and an ability for you to be able to lead. But just because you can talk doesn't mean that you can walk the walk. So that brings me to number 6. Number 6 is that he leads by example. A man of ambition leads by example. You see, I grew up in a neighborhood that was full of marijuana and crack dealers. And as I would walk through my city, I would literally see the drug dealers in the act, poisoning off the profits and then profiting for poison. That means that they were also users, by the way. And right after I would see guys completing drug deals in the city, I would walk right past them with no intention of talking to them, just little Kenny trying to walk past and just trying to get away. But in the process of trying to get away, one would always see me and talk to me. Hey, yo, it's little Kenny. Yo, what's up, my boy? What's going on? You still over there in school getting them grades, right? And I'd be like, yeah. Yes, sir. Always. You know, one day I'm going to go to college and I'm going to go do something dope. And yes, if y'all are wondering, the dope comment was shade, just in case you're wondering. All right, little man, you know what? Yeah, that's cool. You know, just keep working hard and doing what you're doing and you're going to get to the top one day. You know, you got the whole city behind you. I mean, listen, guys, the last thing that they would normally say at the end of every single conversation is a phrase that many children have heard over the years, and it is absolutely frustrating as an adult to have to repeat this back to you because this has been said so many times and it's been said too many times. Hey, man, I know you see what I'm doing out here, but do as I say, not as I do. Bruh, if I had a dime for every time that someone said to me, do as I say, not as I do, I probably would have had enough money when Bitcoin first came out to drop my money in there and I'd be retired right now. Still doing this podcast for y'all though. But anyway, my point is that telling someone to do what's right, but then not walking the right path yourself, you literally defeat the purpose of your claim from the beginning. Listen, I understand that many people are going to warn you because they're speaking directly from a place of regret or they're speaking from a place of warning. But it's hard for me. And it's honestly, it's hard for a lot of people to listen to someone say, do as I say, not as I do, when you don't portray what life could be like if you simply do as you do. If you know your life choices led you to pain, they led you to suffering, they led you to disappointment, bad results, whatever the case may be, listen to me. It's okay. I got no problem with that. It is what it is. You're still trying to figure it out. I'm fine with that. But if you know what you did was wrong, bruh, change your moves up. Now is the time to change. There is still time for you. You can still change. When you say, not as I do, you are merely providing a recommendation. But when you have experienced life and you have found the right path, you provide young men with the blueprint. So to summarize this whole point, the big message here is lead by example. Because when you tell somebody not as I do, it's a recommendation. But when you tell them as I do, it is the blueprint. Number 7, that man, he grooms to swoon. I know somebody out there right now is like, yo, that's the corniest thing I have ever heard. But it's true. Listen, a man of ambition grooms in order to swoon. Hear me out. Don't judge. Listen to everything I have to say. I didn't learn the importance of grooming until I was in Army ROTC when I was at Fayetteville State University. And see, I would wake up, I would throw on some sweatpants, probably not even take a shower. So you know I was funk dogging it around campus. And I would still wear the same white tee that I wore to bed that night. So, and then on top of that, I would walk around rocking a pair of beat up Nikes. And No lie, on the side of the shoe, you could see the seams tearing off of the shoe. In short, I was out in these streets looking rough. And that was me for about a solid 3 months into being at Fayetteville State. And then one day, I bumped into a man on campus, and no cap involved, this man changed my life forever. His name was KJ Scriven. This man went on later in my time in school. He became Mr. Fayetteville State University. And if you Google this man right now, he's an award-winning singer and producer. And I mean, top tier singer and producer. The guy is out here in these streets. So shout outs to you. You see, I didn't know KJ well. I really didn't. But what I can tell y'all in a short, simple way is that this brother took care of himself. This man, my goodness, this man could dress. I mean, from suits to the wingtips to the blazers to the cologne that carried in the air. This man had himself together. His hair was always well cut, and he spoke like he was at FSU to go get his doctorate degree, but he was only there to get a bachelor's. I was blown away by this man. Like, I'm not even lying to y'all, keeping it real. Like, I watched this man from afar, and I measured all the small things and all the big things he did. But the biggest thing was I saw how he looked and how he presented himself, and it was never bad, ever. So as I started seeing the things he would do, I started practicing the little things. And I mean, the little things. I bought a couple collar shirts. You know, I went to Walmart and I copped the George black slacks. Don't act like y'all don't know what the George brand is. I know you know what I'm talking about when I say the George brand. But I went out and I started doing little things to get myself together. And based on that, I started feeling better. There was a sense of confidence. I felt like I could walk through campus with my head held high. People would see me and they would look. And it makes you feel better. It hits so different. And I just continued to find more ways to grow so that I could become the person that I wanted to be, that anybody who saw me had an instant attraction, whether it was professional, whether it was for mentorship, whether it was for romantic, whatever the case may be. I started taking those things in to get better. The message here is that everything sends a sign, and a man of value understands and relishes at the opportunity to be the best groomed in any room. I'm going to say that again because this is a very, very important point. Everything you do is a sign, and a man of value understands and relishes at the chance to be the best groomed in the room. In fact, in any room. Last one, gentlemen, and the ladies will probably vibe with me more on this one than anything else. So, real men make plans. Real men make plans. And now I'm not just talking about as a man of professional, of moving his dreams, ambition. I'm talking about if you have a lady in your life that you hold near and dear to your heart. Men, real men make plans. Listen, there's a lady somewhere right now she's probably been waiting for me to say this, for me to say something so that they can say, yeah, see, I told you, you won't listen. And well, congrats, love. Here's the one for you. All right, gentlemen, check this one out. You need to make a plan. See, the best way for us to sustain a thriving relationship with the woman in your life is to be intentional about growing your relationship. If you don't put deliberate things in place, brothers, if you do not put stuff in place intentionally, you are setting yourself up for failure. If you don't put deliberate things in place, don't expect long growth. Think about it. When people put money into the stock market, we're putting money in the stock market deliberately with the intent of making a bigger return on the other side. What do you think these plans are that you're making are for? It's because we're trying to get the highest rate of return. Here's a quick tip, guys. So one night I sat down and I sat in my bed and I brain dumped every single dating idea that I could possibly come up with out of my own head. And then once I did that, then I hopped on Google and I looked up a list of dating ideas and I picked the ones I like and I wrote those down. And then I got on Pinterest and I found more ideas and I wrote those down. So now I got this master list of all these ideas that I want to do, right? So then once I made my master list, the next thing I did, I categorized them, but I specifically categorized them by price. And the reason I categorize them by price is because there's going to be some times where we're willing to spend more money. There's going to be times where we don't want to spend anything at all. So yes, for those that want to know, free was also a category for me too. So from there, I opened up my Google Calendar on my phone and I scheduled dates for everything, every single date. And I framed it out long term. So when I wanted to take her out, I wanted to go somewhere. I told her, hey, we're going to go on a date. What are we going to do? Don't worry about it. I got a plan. You will be surprised, gentlemen, how far it goes just to have a plan. It's that simple. I'm not joking. Listen to me. You've already got those dates planned out. Have them in your phone already. Set notifications for yourself 2 weeks out. Make that phone call, make those reservations, or already have framed out what you want to do 2 weeks out. Then you go get her. You go on that date together, and y'all just have the time of your lives. And the next thing you know, boom, mind blown, heart races. Great times are immediately underway, and everything is good. This is a professional channel, so we're not going to get into the other stuff, but y'all get what I'm getting at. Now, the last part I'm going to throw right here, I will give you a bonus tip. Gentlemen, there are apps out there that will let you schedule your dinners, your brunches, your lunches, whatever it is you want to do, and they'll already make sure that the appetizers and everything are already on the table when you arrive. When I tell you, if you've never heard of an app called Open Table, the Open Table app is the absolute truth. When you get a chance, check that one out for yourself. And by the way, I think I have to put this out there. I am not sponsored by them. I'm just a guy that uses the app and has caught many dubs, like many wins off of using it. I've had a lot of great times and it has saved me a lot of time. And the best part about it is if you have last minute needs, they take care of those too. Like if you're like 2-3 hours out and you just need to schedule, they literally are tracking this stuff. So it saves you a lot of time. So anyway, hey, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for listening to the Altitude Podcast, the show that's all about growth. Gentlemen, do you have any other signs that a man is ambitious? And if you do, I would love for you to put it down in that comment box. Let me know. What does an ambitious man do? What are some of those characteristics? What are some of the things that you expect an ambitious man to come to the table with? I can't wait to hear what you got to say. But that's all I got for now. Make sure y'all are following me on all forms of social media at KFitsInspires. But in the meantime, in between time, move your dreams, move the world. I'm out of here. Take care, y'all.